All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's video, we're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. There's something I don't get about the NFL media world. They just give Aidan O'Connell the worst reputation. They criticize him for beating Jared Stidham, Tommy DeVito, and Easton Stick. But come on, it's not O'Connell's fault who he's up against. That win against the Kansas City Chiefs was huge. Beating Patrick Mahomes, a Super Bowl MVP, is no small feat. Sure, O'Connell didn't have to do much after the first quarter, but people are still making a big deal about it. I came across an article titled Raiders Quarterback Competition. DVOA labels Aidan O'Connell a game manager. Now, some might see game manager as an insult, but I see it as a compliment. Think about Brock Purdy, for instance. The article written by Schatz, I can't recall which website, analyzed some metrics. Here's what he had to say. O'Connell ranked 25th in DVOA and DIR last season. He was above replacement level and avoided the Zach Wilson danger zone of poor performance. He could become a solid game manager. However, he's not very mobile, was a fourth-round pick in the 2023 draft, and performed best against weaker opponents like DeVito, Stick, and Stidham. For some context, DVOA, Defense Adjusted Value Over Average, measures a team's success based on the down and distance of each play, compared to the league average. Personally, I think this metric is overrated. Sometimes stats can ruin the fun of sports. Tonight we'll cover various topics, mainly focusing on the quarterback position. But before we dive in, if you enjoy the content, please hit that like button and subscribe for daily Raiders updates and NFL videos. Here's the final excerpt from the article. Minshew represents a worthy low bar for O'Connell to clear. If O'Connell cannot beat Minshew in camp or hold him off for very long, the Raiders will know not to waste their time. Minshew will keep their offense semi-competitive with his improvisations. So, Gardner Minshew signed a 2-year contract, right? It's crazy because training camp hasn't even started for most teams. Preseason hasn't begun, and the regular season is still a ways off. But every mock draft I've seen, every early 2025 mock draft, has Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes, going to the Raiders. Everyone is penciling in Shedeur Sanders to Las Vegas next season. I just want to say real quick, I think that would be amazing. It would be awesome to see Sanders in a Raiders uniform. But folks, the only thing the article got right is that if Aidan O'Connell can't beat Gardner Minshew, this season might be rough. Yes, Minshew could probably still lead the Raiders to a 9, 8, or 10-7 season, but I'm thinking long-term. I want to find our franchise QB. Now, about the DVOA and DIR stats, I think they're overrated. It reminds me a bit of baseball, where you have players hitting below the Mendoza line, .200, who should be in AAA, but they can hit home runs. These sports are being flooded with nerdy stats like DYR. I mean, what does that really tell me? I'll reread this excerpt because I'm not trying to bash Aaron Schatz. He's dangerously immobile. I don't think that's an issue at all. I immediately think of Phillip Rivers. Yes, O'Connell was a 4th-round pick in the 2023 draft, but that doesn't mean he can't succeed. I think Aidan O'Connell just got a bit unlucky with the perception. He did his best work against teams led by Tommy DeVito, Easton Stick, and Jared Stidham. None of these guys play defense. They're all backup quarterbacks. So it's unfair to judge O'Connell based on the quarterbacks he faced. But that's beside the point. In my opinion, and I've been saying this all summer, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it. I fully believe Aidan O'Connell will win the starting job and be the starter for the entire season. Whether he becomes the franchise quarterback is a different question, but I hope and believe he'll be our regular season starter. One player who will greatly help O'Connell is Davante Adams, the best wide receiver in the league. We also have one of the best wide receiver twos in Jakobi Meyers, along with promising second-year players Michael Mayer and Trey Tucker. Plus, we picked up veteran Michael Gallup. And then there's Brock Bowers. He was the 13th pick in the draft, and if you look at any post-draft analysis, he's considered a top 10 pick in every single one. Greg Olsen mentioned that if it wasn't for this historically strong quarterback draft class, Brock Bowers wouldn't have fallen past the 7th pick. The hope is that Brock Bowers will be a generational player, a Hall of Famer, and a multi-year Pro Bowler. According to ESPN's analysis of every draft pick, people might have forgotten or been confused about this, but the first sentence of their review highlights the high expectations for Bowers. Here was the first sentence when they drafted Brock Bowers. What a strange first-round selection, especially considering tight end was addressed last season with the second-round selection of Mike Mayer. This just shows how versatile Brock Bowers is. He can line up in the backfield, in the slot, or as a wide receiver. He's a do-it-all prospect. At 6'4" and 240 pounds, he's built more like a wide receiver than a traditional tight end. Michael Mayer, who is also 4 inches or 6 at start 5, forms one of the best tight end tandems in the league with Bowers. Think of them as the new Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski duo. Mayer had a decent rookie season, especially considering he was in a Jimmy Garoppolo-led offense for the first half of the season. He had 27 catches for 304 yards and 2 touchdowns in just 14 games, missing the last 3 with a foot injury. If you're a Raiders fan, you know the first half of last season was rough. The stats didn't really matter because it took them nearly 2 months to score over 20 points in a game. Josh McDaniels and Jimmy Garoppolo struggled to get the offense going in 2024. But this season, I'm excited about Trey Tucker and Michael Mayer, and Brock Bowers is likely to become one of the best tight ends in the NFL for a long time, starting right away. I believe Aiden O'Connell will win the starting job, and the Raiders will win 10 games this season. That's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe. We'll see you at training camp. Thank you for watching, and most importantly, have a great weekend. Let me know in the comments how many wins you think the Raiders will have this upcoming season.